Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial, back again for the second big video of the day. Tonight, I am joined with Steve Day. Steve, good evening.
Evening, Jake. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Tonight we're going to be talking football stories, West Ham stories, the lot, and then we've got a couple of West Ham fans coming on to talk about the latest news to do with West Ham. But firstly, then, before we do get into it, please check out Town Len using the link in the description down below for all of your portraits. If I just flip us around there's one. Oh, it won't flip me around. Where are we going? There's one that you did for me there. Check him out using the link in the description down below. Right, let's get started then, Steve. Lots of football West Ham memories, but which one kind of sticks out to you the most?
The funniest one, I suppose, was West Ham Millwall Carling Cup. I was in hospitality at the ground. Phone call come down from the lads up the Queens. It's all kicking off. We dropped hospitality like you've never seen before. And it was like going back to the old days, mate, to be honest. But yeah, that was good, wasn't it? But my favourite, I think my childhood memories were probably the best, mate, to be honest. 1975 Cup Final, loved every minute of it. And it's when the Cup Final was big. You know, it was as big as the European Cup, or Champions League, as they call it now. But in them days, and it was a big build-up. My uncle was obviously in goal. I was only a young kid. And West Ham, the Fulham keeper, Peter Mellor. And I can always remember he was on the tally and he said, on a Friday night, and he said, I'm going to put super glue on my hands, he said, the ball sticks. And I was only a young kid. I must have been about, 7, I suppose. It was 8, probably 9. And I said, Dad, they're going to cheat. They're going to cheat. What are you on about, son? I said, Peter Mellor's going to use that super glue. The super glue was brand new then. Right? Brand new. The ball will stick to his hands, Dad. He said, don't trust that glue, son. He said, we'll win. And I couldn't sleep. This bloke was going to cheat in goal for Fulham. and the ironic thing was he dropped the ball twice and Alan Taylor scored. So, that was probably my... And Brookings header, mate. There's nothing like winning something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a memorable one would have been in Cardiff, the old, was it 2006 Cup Final? I thought he'd won the Cup. God, blimey. You know what I mean? That was torture. That was torture. And I was living in Cardiff at the time, so... oh dear. That was a heartbreaker, that one. But, you know, we get our hearts broken often by West Ham, don't we? But... that one was bad because, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't alive. So, if you can remember, what was going through your mind? What were you feeling like when that Gerrard strike went in? Because I mean, we looked almost certain to. I mean, there's a few choice words that I could imagine that were chucked in there, but I mean, they were just so disappointed, and we were on the road, and then just lose it on penalties. What were you thinking?
At the time, I was living in China. And so I flew back for the final. And I was lucky. I got tickets for a box, right? My mate had it because he was obviously in Cardiff. Right? And I had a house out in Cowbridge, which was sort of 10, 15 minutes away. And so my mate had a box there. So he rang me up. And said, you know, I had to get a ticket, as you wanted. And he said, hey, you come in my box, no problem, blah, blah. I'd bring a couple of mates. So we had the old hospitality, and we had the beer, and we had a few drinks and whatever. And to be honest, I went there not expecting to win, right? But, God, crikey, 2-0 up. God, this is fantastic. What's going on here? And Liverpool were all over the place, weren't they? Right? But the box was directly in line when Gerrard hit the ball, right? As he struck it, and I said to me, mate, I said, it's going in. I just knew it was going in, right? And then it was obviously bollocks, it's gone in, you know. And when it went to penalties, to be honest, I always say we drew that cup final.
Yeah.
We won a cup final on penalties, right? And I think we were a better team on the day. Gerrard obviously did what he did. But it was a draw, mate. It was a draw, wasn't it? But I couldn't even go for a pint afterwards. I had to go home. My missus said to me, "What are you doing home? You've just been in the cup final. It was probably the earliest I've ever come home in my life, don't I?" Oh, gutted, absolutely gutted. And my son was away. My son, who was he was probably about 5 at the time, he was a bit young to go to the final. A bit younger than that, 4, I think it was. And he came out. He's a big West Ham fan. Obviously, brought up to be a West Ham fan, and even he was gutted. He's like, terrible day, really. But there we go. That's in the memory bank, isn't it?
Yeah.
But penalties. Well, there we go. We're rubbish on penalties that day. But life goes on, Jake. Life goes on, mate.
Yeah. Let's see who's in the chat. Let's see what people are saying. Gatesy's in the chat, hello, mate. The champ is here. Yes, if you didn't see it, 3 p.m. this afternoon, Gatesy beat Duke in the Forge from Iron Showdown quiz. Had a champ. Well, there you go. Evening champ. Dad says mum and dad were in a pub in Cardiff for the 06-07 Cup final. Kent's in. Hello, mate. Hope you well. 2006 broke my heart. The longest journey home ever. Lionel Scaloni. Why did he give the ball back?
Oh. That question's going to go around for years, isn't it?
Scaloni should have just lumped the ball up the pitch. Kent says we missed Hayden Mullins massively that day.
We did. Very, very much an underrated player at West Ham, Hayden Mullins. Great player.
Andy's in. Hello, Andy. Evening. I'm not long got home and my Chinese is 20 minutes late. I'm angry. Oh dear. Peach says, we did like how we're missing Fornals right now. Yeah, I think it is. Hopefully Fornals will be back after the international break. Somebody's just popped in the chat. West Ham clips. Hello, I've just got a quick we'll be back in a couple of seconds, but I just want to show you this video from the man, the myth, the legend that is West Ham clips.
Where's the clips then?
Oh.
Where's the clips then?
I think we've had a technical error there. I'll try and get that. I'll try and get that back on. That's not loaded up. Don't worry. We will get that back. Not to worry. But just on that 06-07 Cup final, whilst we're there, Steve, Dean Ashton scored that day. Of course, he had his injury, but what do you think Dean Ashton could have been if he didn't get that injury?
I think he would have been one of the best strikers in the Premiership for many years to come, mate, to be honest with you. He had strength, he had ability, he had great feet with the ball. Do you know, not many strikers have great feet, they head it in or whatever, strike the ball. But he could play. He could play. He had everything, mate. He had everything. And I think, and wasn't it ironic, really? He got injured playing it was training with England, wasn't it? I think the injury come from, and I think he would have gone on to have a great English career with England. I think he would have stayed at West Ham for a few years, to be honest. I think possibly, the money would have come for him. Strikers are a premium, aren't they? And at that time, we wouldn't have been able to hold on to him, I don't think. But great player. Great, very nice man as well. Very lovely. Nothing big-headed about him. Good lad.
Yeah.
Great player.
I've re-uploaded the videos. Hopefully that's what. But before we do play it, Scott's in. Hello, Scott. Hope you're well. James is back home from pool day. I'm so glad to play pool again. Blame it on Duke. I could blame it on Duke. And Scott says the power of live YouTube, Jake, definitely. And then Dad says, do you need Dad to help with tech issues? No, I think we're all right. I think we are all right. Right, let's see if this video will load again. Let's try again. The man, the myth, the legend, West Ham clips.
Everybody. So you want to know what I think about David Moyes and Craig Dawson? Well, unfortunately you won't find out today. Soon I will be doing a Q&A with Jake, over on the West Ham unofficial YouTube channel, so send in your questions. Unfortunately I've got some business to take care of at the moment. I'll see you soon. Come on you Irons.
There he is.
You got Ginge coming on, have you?
Oh, that's just his profile picture. That is West Ham Clips. Me and Clips, he will be coming on to do a Q&A very, very soon. So get your questions in on Twitter, on here, wherever. We will get them in. So please get your questions in, and that will be coming up very soon. Thank you very much to West Ham Clips for sending that in. And check that out very, very soon on West Ham Unofficial. Right, let's see what else people are saying in the chat. James says Dean Ashton would have been great signing if no injuries. Yeah, I think it completely. I mean, it's just unfortunate, isn't it? There we go. Clips with his eyes. Very, very soon. Make sure you do look out for that. Yeah, mate. It was a good now. And now here for duties. Here for duties. Here we go. Clips for PM. Clips will be amazing. It absolutely will. Kent has said Ashton, a great player, had everything, but wouldn't have been at West Ham very long. I mean, I didn't see him, but I think that the way people were describing him, he was the best that's been around for a long time, and it was just a shame, mate.
But the thing was as well, old Kent says he wouldn't have been around very long. But Dean Ashton loved being at West Ham. Right? Absolutely loved being at West Ham. And he basically become a fan, like the rest of us, you know. So I think until the big money came in, which the club wouldn't have refused, you know, I think he'd have been there for a few more seasons, mate, at least, to be honest. But we never know, will we? We never know now.
No. Yeah, it's just a shame. It's just a shame. Some people have sent in some questions and some stuff. Then, firstly, somebody has asked you to just to describe your nickname that some people give you, Blakey.
I don't know who's come out with that one, but it's bound to be a member of staff, right? But I've got a fleet of obviously delivery vehicles that deliver all over Europe, our furniture and stuff, and also in the UK. So it could be Browner, actually. It could be Brownie bringing this one up. Or it could be a couple of them. But they call me Blakey because when they were sending all the drivers out back in the day, I'd have my clipboard. Right? So there was a programme way before your time, Jake, called On the Buses. All right? So Butler was like one of my drivers is called Butler. And one's called Stan, nicknames, you know, and they used to call me Blakey because I'd stand there with my clipboard signing them all out. You're off to France, you're off to Spain, you're off to Portugal, whatever. So they're pulling me leg there a bit, Jake.
You're a regular appearance on Football with Brownie. You've mentioned him a couple of times, Adam. He's a regular appearance on West Ham Unofficial. So interesting chat with him last night. Check that out. Friday night. But lots of things. Aaron Ramsey in there as well. Really interesting. Was that nice? You know, speaking to Adam through the power of this technology.
Yeah. Well, Brownie come on to me. Like, I've known Brownie for years. He's as mad as a box of frogs, to be honest. Lovely bloke. He's worked for me over the years. And, yeah, he's a good lad. He's top boy, Brownie. And he started waffling on about these YouTube channels and all this. And I'm a bit over all that. I just didn't really know what to make of it all, you know. And then you hear about these kids were saying, I watch this YouTuber and that YouTuber, and it's like, oh, blimey, I'm still trying to work my iPhone, yeah. And they come up, he said, I'm going to be famous. He said, I'm going to be famous. I said, what are you about now? And I've heard this off Brownie probably 50 times. Next year he's going to be a millionaire and all the rest of it. But he doesn't do this for money, obviously. But he said, no, YouTube. It's all YouTube now. And I was just laughing. He started his football with Brownie, didn't he? And Brownie knows his stuff, to be fair. I first met Brownie when I was trying to, I wasn't trying to buy a football club. Brownie tried to get me to buy a football club, but he was a counsellor, right? Anyway, I won't go into all that. But but he's a character. But he's really good on YouTube. I think he's a great character. He's found his vocation in life, shall we say. All right? But Peach is off, Blakey. Right, Peach? But... yeah, he's mad. You think Brownie's mad? Peach is even madder, isn't he? Peach needs a show, I think. But but now Brownie, great lad, great show, great lad. Yeah, no, I got all the time in the world for him. We fall out now and again, as we have over the years, but that's what mates do. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's always back on the phone, or I'm back on the phone with him, or whatever. But top boy, Brownie, top boy. I think he's a closet West Ham fan. You know,
yeah.
He's always on about West Ham, isn't he?
Every time he comes on this show, he says, my second team this year is West Ham. Every time he comes on, he moves it in.
When he rings me up, we talk more West Ham than he ever talks Cardiff, especially since Vincent Town changed the colour of his club. Oh, he went right off on one on. Right. If you'd seen him in Cardiff at the time when that happened, well, his face was as red with anger as the shirts were.
I don't think he's in the chat, so you can say what you want unless he watches it back.
He'll watch it back, I'm sure, will he? But if we slag him off now, he definitely watch it, won't he? I'll send him a text message.
Adam, if you're watching, you're a great.
I got a feeling he's gone to Gibraltar tonight to watch the Dylan White fight.
Yeah, see, that's in Gibraltar. See, I tell you what, we turned on the telly, and they said this is in Gibraltar. I said Adam will be there. That's where Adam is. Adam ain't far away.
Yeah, because he was fishing to me the other week to know about the tickets. Because I used to live in Gibraltar, and I got a few contacts there and whatever. And I'd worked in the boxing a little bit, and he was fishing too. So he's not around. So he's either off with his Russian girlfriend. He's lost his wallet again, as usual, or he's gone to Gibraltar. But I reckon he's in Gibraltar myself, because it's not like him not to be on.
Yeah. Let's see. What else people are saying. Scott says, I've just heard Rice could be named vice captain for England. I say give him the keys to the country. Now that's positive news. I mean, just kind of scaling off it, do you think, he didn't play against San Marino. Do you think that Rice will get a start in there against, I think it's Albania, and then we've got Poland, and same for Lingard as well?
Oh, definitely, mate. I think they're personally, and I said to a mate a long time ago, and he laughed at me, and it was a couple of years ago now. I said, Declan Rice is the next Bobby Moore at West Ham. Right? And he said, don't be so stupid. I said, I'm telling you. Declan Rice is the next Bobby Moore at West Ham. And I think he is. I think he will be. I think, he's still only a youngster. I don't think he'll ever move, personally. If he does it, it'll be to a huge club, like Real Madrid or something like that. He won't go to Man United or anything like that.
I hope not.
No. And all the stories about the Chelsea thing, it's not going to happen. I can tell it ain't going to happen. Right? But you can't, no player can resist Real Madrid, 300 grand, 350 grand a week, plus all the sponsorship. You're £1 million a week, aren't you? You're not going to turn that down. I don't think he's got to that level yet, but I think he will. But I think he will be at West Ham for a long time, And I think he's of the ilk, although he obviously come through the academy, but before that it was Chelsea, then you get the rumours and all that. But he's a down-to-earth lad, mate. He was in the England camp. This is what a nice bloke is, right? And down to earth. I was in Spain at the time in my Spanish home, and I needed something for a local charity there for a children's home. So I thought, right, and then what they wanted to do, they wanted an England player to wear a Halloween mask, right, with an England shirt on, and then a photo with the mask on and a photo with the. You had to guess who the player was. Right, so everyone was going to chuck a few quid in to have a go, raise the money for the children's home. So I rang the England training camp, spoke to me mate Marge, who used to be the West Ham goalkeeping coach, but he's the England goalkeeping. Well, he's the England goalkeeping coach now. I said, Marge, do me a favour, mate. Go and grab one of the lads. What I want a favour, right? I said, I explained what I wanted. So he said, who do you want? So I thought, well, you want at the time, you want the biggest name you can, don't you? So we went for Sterling, right? I was going to have a word with Sterling. Oh, I'll try him. I'll try Cup. Sterling come back, wanted $5 grand. Right? Seriously. The mercenaries today, footballers, right? $5 grand for a charity just to wear a Halloween mask. I said, you're having a laugh, Marge, aren't you? He said, they're all mercenaries today. He said. I said, bloody hell, they're worse than I thought they were. So I can't remember who the second one we tried. He wanted $3 grand. I said, hang on a minute. Declan Rice is in the squad, isn't he? He said, yeah, second time. Or third, whatever it was. I can't remember. My memory's terrible. I said, oh, grab him, man. How much does he want? He came back, nothing. So he done it. You know what I mean? And that sort of, I know it's away from football and away, but that shows certain players' mentality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like Lingard now, right? I got, after sending him to you, and Bowen, the two of them. My son, George, he's fine, he's healthy as he can, but he's got cystic fibrosis. And all the West Ham management at the time knew it and blah, 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 and the player. But those two, well, only last year, done a video for him. Lingard was still at Man United, eh? You know, for his birthday. I thought, what do I get him for his birthday? Those two, no problem, Daya. I'll make him a video, you know. He's made up, young kid made up, you know. But
yeah.
He's surprised how many won't do that in football anymore. But West Ham has still got that community spirit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, completely.
Even if Brown did chase Bowen's dad down the pitch at Merthyr Tydfil that time.
Yeah. James says Harewood, Zamora, Ashton. We had good forwards in 06. We're going to talk about this later on. Man United are prepared to offer Lingard a new 3-year contract, 3-year deal. We're going to talk about that later on. But you got John Williams on the channel for me. He came on a couple of weeks ago. How did you meet him? And thanks for getting him on.
Oh, no worries, mate. Oh, Willow. Oh, top boy, Willow. Crikey, we're going back years now. He was, where was he? Lower league, Swansea. Playing for Swansea at the time. It was the first time I met him. I was, like I said, I was living in Cardiff. And I was looking after a few Cardiff players. And the word spreads in football. Do you know what I mean? And with me, I can't remember how we met now, but I ended up looking after Willow. It would have been about 1991, I suppose. And then I got him that job. Obviously, fastest football player in the Football League and all that at Wembley, and we just become best mates as well, mate, to be honest. It wasn't business in the end, do you know what I mean? But it was just mates, you know, and it still is today. So, like, I saw you started your show out. I thought, well, let's get him on there. But a great bloke, Willow, isn't he? Great bloke. I watched the show. He's cool as a cucumber, Willow. Nothing will ever wind him up. Well, you can't wind Willow up, right? I mean, you can't wind him up. He's just so laid back, you know. But yeah. So I've known him all those years now, really. But great bloke. If all football players were like him, mate. If all football players were like Willow, and your Rice there, and I think Mark Noble you can put into that category as well. The football would be a far better game and a far better industry, right? But unfortunately, money rules the world of football now, and it's changed the game for good, but it's also changed the game for a lot of bad reasons as well. You know.
Yeah. You mentioned before we come on air, your uncle played for West Ham as a goalkeeper.
He did, many years ago. Yeah, Uncle Mervyn Day, Cup final 1975. We used to rib him. All the time. Wind him up. My dad, he's dead now, but his brother. And you can't catch a ball, Merv. You dropped again. If you watch back the takes, he always palms the ball away, right? He never caught the ball. Oh, they didn't wear gloves in them days, mind, you know. But, we used to wind him up. Oh, you couldn't catch it again. But, he's still going, mate. He went to Leeds after that. And Orient. Matt, you know, he's on the bench in the dugout in Orient for a while. But but good. They were the days when footballers were normal people. Great times.
Yeah. And what was it like? As a West Ham fan, having your uncle playing for West Ham as a goalkeeper. What was that like?
Well, funny enough. I got a mate called David Pinkett who lives in Somerset, Yeovil, right? So when we moved down from London, I was only a kid. We moved from my dad was in the Navy, so we moved down to Yeovil, and of course David Pinkett, probably your age, less younger than you at the time, in primary school, and Dave came round and he said, I've heard your uncle's Mervyn Day. I said, well, yeah, he's on the phone now to me dad, you know. God, he plays for West Ham and all. So, but we cheated, right? What we did, my mum used to do the pools round, right, in around Somerset in the Oval, the pools and spot the ball. Can you remember spot the ball? You would know what spot the ball is, but it was a gambling sheet. You had to put a cross where you thought the ball was, right? And if you picked the right spot, you won like 100 grand or something. So she done the coupons. So she had all the old ones, right, that didn't get sold. So what we did, we got my dad to sign them as Mervyn Day. Right, we take them to primary school and flog them. Yeah, but you could get away with things like that. Do you know what I mean? Oh, Dave used to love it. Do you know what I mean? We ran the shops in Glenthorne Avenue there buying sweets that going out of fashion with our earnings.
Yeah. You've met many people in your time. If you had to pick, a couple of people that kind of stuck out the most, of being like a really good person. I mean, you've met plenty of people. Who just kind of sticks out for you?
What, in all sport or football? Or in life?
Football.
Oh, in football. Sticks out for me. Oh, sorry. Malcolm Allison. When we were kids living in East Ham, he's playing for West Ham. Obviously, John Bond, Bobby Moore, Billy Bonds was coming through at the time. But that era, and Malcolm Allison became an idol for me. Not so much for his skill on the pitch, he's a good player, but his character. It was so bubbly, and the way he went. And I'll tell you a funny story what happened, right? When I was a kid, we used to run up a snooker club in East Ham and run up a club, and they're all being there after training because we used to train at Upton Park in them days. And we went to school just on the corner there. And you want them to wash they check a few quid to wash the car. We were terrible. We never done the lessons. So we run up to snooker club lunchtime. Bobby, Malcolm, can we wash your car? And then, yeah, wash the car. But they'd come down, they come back after have a game of snooker, and I'm sure a couple of pints. Right? And they were great. And they'd come in the playground, and they were brilliant. But Malcolm Allison then went on to have a career in management. Right? He was a hell of a character. He had a big hat. Always had a big hat and a big cigar. Big chuffer. Huge chuffer. And he was funny on the TV. His TV interviews were funny and everything else, right? And he actually became manager of Yeovil Town for a while. And by this time, I'm in Yeovil, see? So I bump into you meet someone at Yeovil or whatever. You could just bump into anyone, can't you? So I bumped into him. I was probably early teenager, I suppose, at the time. Malcolm, remember me from the playground in East Ham? Hello, mate. And he did remember, fair play. Yeah, and he was just a real character anyway. So, and he said, I thought you wanted to be a football player. Can you play? He said to me once in the bar at the old Hewish ground. I said, not really, man, not that good. He said, well, you can't be any effing worse than this lot I got here. He said, come and have a go. So anyway, cut long story short, years later, I'm in a pub in Wales, and I walked in the pub and I've been sat up by my mates, right? Because I've told this story, a couple of people in my local pub, and they said, my mate Lyons come over and he said, Dad, come over, my family are down, my family are here, come and have a drink with us. So I went to have a drink. And he said, tell them about how you knew Malcolm Allison. Right? I said, that bloody, I said, I didn't try to get me on the pitch, blah, blah, blah. I had a trial, boy, good, blah, blah, blah. I said he probably, for a laugh, I said he probably ruined my football career, right? And he said, how did you like him? And I said, good laugh, he wound me up a bit, blah, blah, blah. He said, this is his nephew. Not nephew, what was he being? Dave. His son, Dave Allison. Right? I said, you're winding me up now, aren't you? And it wasn't. It was actually Malcolm's son. But he was in a home, right, in up Manchester way. And he had dementia, So I said, would you mind if I went to see him? I got a bit of business at Manchester next week. I said, would you mind if I popped in and see him, Dave? He said, no, but he probably won't remember you. I said, no, that's fair enough, you know. He said, he don't remember a lot, blah, blah, blah. So I said, well, we never know. And so we're in Manchester. I said to me mate, Moj, who was working with me, I said, I've got to pop in and see Malcolm Allison, the old football manager. Oh, right. He said, that'd be good. I said, he's obviously got dementia now. He probably won't recognise me, but we'll give it a shot, like, innit? And we went to this nurse home, explained it. Dave Allison had said to come and see Malcolm, blah, blah, blah. And even the nurse said, I'll take you down his room, she said. And I'll take you down his room, and but he may not remember who you are, and he forgets and he don't forget and all the rest of it. So we always remember, we walked in. All right, Mal. And the nurse went, Malcolm, you got some visitors. All right. So she baggered off, like, all right, Mal. And yeah, he said, I know you. He said, you're that cheeky kid from the school in East Ham, aren't you? And I remember you from Yeovil Town. I said, that's it, Mal. He said, they think I can't remember nothing round here, he said. But I can. Right? So how's it going there, Mal? Come on, sneak me out for a pint, he said. It's hard to get out of here for a beer. So you have to go out the back door. So we sneaked him out and took him down the pub. But yeah, great. He was a bit of a hero, really. Yeah, I like old Mal.
Very good. Yeah. I'm gonna play the Town Len video now. After that, I'm gonna be joined armed with a few West Ham fans to talk about everything West Ham at the moment. Me and Steve will be back with some guests in a minute. I'll see you in a moment. Town Len is your best place to buy custom portraits that you can buy on the internet. Town Len does animated portraits like this one he did for me up here. They're absolutely fantastic and I couldn't recommend them enough. So just some ones that he did for me. I've got this one here outside the London Stadium. I mean, it looks just like me, really. The best possible kind of animated portrait, kind of animated cartoon kind of picture I could hope for, really. They're absolutely amazing and they are so realistic, look exactly like me, and they are very good to buy. So make sure you do click the link in the description down below to buy a portrait from Town Len. I'd highly recommend them. Click the link in the description down below. He does animated portraits, non-West Ham related, West Ham related, lots of different backgrounds, any shirt, any background. You can basically customize it to your absolute kind of needs and what you exactly want. So click the link in the description down below to check out Town Len. Come on, your irons. And I am joined by an army of West Ham fans now. I'm joined with Gatesy, the champ.
Thank you, Jake.
Very good. James, who's the champ of the #2 quiz. So it's the battle of the champs going on here. And a future to be perhaps champ in the quiz is Andy, and our mystery guest is going to be very soon. Andy, good evening.
Good evening. I'm sorry in advance. I'm still angry. My food's still not turned up, so I'm very angry, and I don't know how long you've got me for.
No worries. The first thing we're going to start with, just come out in the last 40 minutes, is the Czech Republic starting lineup, and Soufal and Souček are both in there. Souček is the captain. He's been given the armband. Firstly, Andy, Soufal and Souček, they both start, and the armband to Souček. What do you think about that?
No, that's very good. Like I said, the plus side is it's a Saturday game, so it's more time for them to recover. I don't know whether they've got another game. I haven't checked whether they've got one further on, but hopefully they will. Well, Soufal's already had a rest, really, so that's the main good thing. But with them boys, they're match fit all the time. The only worry is the tackle more than anything else. Whether they get injured, I don't think they'll be exhausted. So, but no, it just proves how well they're doing at club level to get in the side, and I think hopefully we'll attract more Czech Republics to the team.
Yeah. Just before we continue on, let's take a couple of comments. Gatesy, you said kebab ordered and a nice cuppa on the way. Has it come?
Well, that's the cuppa. The kebab's on its way still, but I think it will be here imminently.
Kent says, I've met Declan Rice after a game. He stopped for every person for autograph and photos. I can imagine, Kent. I can imagine. Mandy says, hello, Jake. Hello, Mandy. Hope you're well. I know you've had some difficulty coming on the chat. So good to see you. Kent says, Merv the Swerve and was Curb's assistant when he was gaffer. Crikey,
That's right. Yeah.
that's a tongue twister, Kent. Ken also said Bobby Moore used to go to Upton Park on the bus. With Bobby Moore, he used to coach the youth team. I believe Malcolm, he managed Man City.
He did indeed.
He did, yeah, and Crystal Palace.
Yeah. James then. What we just put up there, Souček's been given the armband. Soufal, thoughts on that?
Two of our players, mate. Two of our top boys this year. Personally, I wish they wouldn't play, but obviously they're too good not to play. So, yeah, it's good to see them play. Kafal obviously didn't play the other night against Estonia, so that's good. He's going to be fresh. Big test for these tonight. Czech Republic. We're going to see what Czech Republic are made of against Belgium. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But, obviously, I'd rather him be sitting in Chadwell Heath eating potato salad myself. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think we all would, but I mean, as you said, they're two good Gatesy, aren't they? They really are too good because, I mean, what they've done for us this season and Souček last season, they're just a complete revelation. We will sit here and praise them until the cows come home, but it's just good to see. Hopefully, they could put up a fight against Belgium tonight.
I think they will. I mean, they're not going to roll over and have their tummies tickled, I'm quite sure. I mean, Thomas Souček got the perfect hat-trick the other day. He's now been handed the captain's armband. It's against the number one ranked team in the world, and he won't want to let his country down. Obviously, I agree with what James is saying in that from a West Ham point of view, I'd much rather he wasn't involved. But at the end of the day, we sign international. We know that he's an international player when we signed him, so we can't really complain now that he's playing for his country. We knew he was a Czech international when he walked through the door. So it's, it is what it is. But listen, he's been absolutely brilliant for us. He's been absolutely brilliant for the Czech Republic, as I say, and Vladimir Soufal as well. So I wish them the best of luck. They're going to need it against Belgium, in all fairness, but I think they'll not let their country down.
Yeah. Hopefully, they put up, a fight as they should. But let's talk about a bit of news that's came out in the last week. Then the first thing that come out today is Man United are set to offer Jesse Lingard a 3-year deal at Man United, and I can imagine and I can see you're already shaking your head, James. So I'm gonna give it to you first. Gatesy, you said it in the chat earlier. They don't have to.
No.
Where is it?
He doesn't have to sign it, does he?
Yeah, I can't find it, but you said basically he doesn't have to sign it, and he doesn't. But let's just hope that, he says, well, West Ham got me in the England squad, got me an assist last night or the other night. I want to go to West Ham, James.
Do you know what, mate? We're going to see which way it's going to turn. If he decides to sign for us, he's obviously putting it over signing for them. Man United are a very, very smooth club in what they're doing. What they're doing is they're going to sign him up for another 2 or 3 years and then put a big transfer fee on him and then probably flog him in a year's time. What they've realised is what they've done is they've seen him playing well and thought, oh no, we've got a player that's got a year left on his contract and we can't get the finances what they think he's worth. Let's be honest, Jesse Lingard at the minute, if he's got a 2 or 3 year contract, he's worth 40 million quid. Like at the minute, if you're lucky, if he goes for like 20 or 25, do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a difference, but we've got to make sure that he's signed. However he's signed, like give him whatever he wants, get him at this club. Because if you don't, and then you let him walk away from here, it just I won't be blaming anyone other than the board. Because I think Lingard's here, he wants to be here. He's left Manchester United. He's surplus to requirements there. He knows it. They know it. The board know it. And it's time to get him here, pay the money, and you know what I mean, give the fans what they want. Because if the board don't, then it could turn nasty very quickly.
Yeah. Steve, what do you think about it all then? Because, I mean, surely you'd like to come to West Ham and...
Sorry, I call him Fat Boy because that's the only name I can see there. But what's your name, mate? Proper name?
James.
James is bang on the. It's like he's got a crystal ball, to be honest with you. Lingard wants to be at West Ham. Right, he's enjoying his football. He's having a great time living in London. He's enjoying living in London more than think. It's a lot of pressure off his shoulders being away from Manchester, which he knows. But it's now down to football business, and he doesn't really have a say in it. He does have a say as whether does he sign, but Man United are now going to put the pressure on, just like James says there, and they see an asset that they can flog on later on. I think you're dead right. I think David Sullivan's got to come out and do the business to make sure that he stays. I don't think there's no excuse for him not staying because you've got a player who loves being at West Ham. So when you're in that position, and Lingard's not, he's not a money grabber, so to speak. He's got, he's worth a few bob already. But Sullivan's got to do the business, mate. And that's where it makes me nervous with David Sullivan. It makes us all nervous, doesn't he? You know what I mean? They shell out a shitload of money on some crap, right? And then when you got a player on we'll see. But James is it. The nail on there, mate. At
the end of the day, this summer, and I keep saying it, and I say it again and again on different platforms, different shows, and different YouTube pages. This summer will decide where these owners are with us. Now, if they are with us, they sign this man up, no problem. There's no hiccups. There's no stalling. Pay the money, get it done, job done. Right? If there is any problems with this, these owners do not want us anywhere near Europe or anywhere in the top 10. Right? They're happy just to stay in the league. Simple.
Well, I've done many years ago. I did business with David Sullivan, right? When his brother wanted to buy Cardiff City, and I was involved in the deal, and it had to be a closed shop. That it was David Sullivan fronting the money for his brother, because obviously it could get construed that he was trying to own two football clubs. He was in Birmingham at the time, and he's a bit of a wheeler dealer, and that's what worries me. You can't wheel and deal as he does when you're pushing for a high place in the Premiership. Yeah. I think they made it. I had nothing wrong with them when they bought West Ham. I didn't agree with the move, right? And I still don't agree with it. Then they handled it all wrong, and a lot of bullshit came out, didn't it, about retractable seats and all the rest of it. I think they handled it wrong, but I don't think he's there to sell the club on. I think he's a bit cuter than that. But I think personally, right? I don't know anything about this, but this is just my opinion. And knowing the character that he is, I think he'll end up buying the Olympic Stadium, right? Or the London Stadium, as we call it now, right? But what he's playing out to do is get it for nothing. Now that's a white.
What he's trying to do, he's waiting for the Olympic board committee who own the stadium to go bankrupt. That's what he's waiting to do, and I'll tell you that for a fact.
There's also, you got to remember, the taxpayer is paying for the stadium at the end of it. And the government ain't going to keep on doing that. That's not going to go on forever. And that's when he's going to pick it up for nothing. And I think that's what his game plan is, to pick the ground up for nothing, or near enough nothing, personally. And then West Ham own the ground again. And then that goes on the balance sheet of the club, of course, and then you flog it. Then he'd probably flog it in a couple of years' time. But the other thing is he's grooming his kids, whether it's right or, God, use the word grooming right really these days, isn't it? But he's grooming his kids to run the club. There's no doubt about that. He's got the young one, Jack, running the women's team, and his other one, I think his name's Dave. And it's like, I think it was very cheesy in the days when it was Jack Sullivan on Twitter telling everybody what was going on, but I think he's grooming them with a long-term sort of view on it as well. But time will tell, won't it? But
Yeah.
Come back, Lingard. He's going to get slaughtered if he doesn't do it, isn't he? he's going to get absolutely hammered by the fans because Lingard wants to be at West Ham. He's loving his time at West Ham. And it's only because he's playing so well. Now Man United are getting interested again, isn't it?
Gatesy, do you want to jump in there?
Jesse Lingard would be foolish if he signed that contract, because at the end of the day, if he signs that contract, he's locked into Manchester United for the remainder of that contract, should they wish it to be so. In the summer, he has 1 year left. Now, realistically, that's their one and only opportunity to get a decent amount of money for him, because in the January, he'll be worth significantly less, and then he goes for nothing the following summer. So Manchester United are panicking. Now, if Jesse Lingard at the age of 28 wants to play regular first team football, it's not going to be at Manchester United. So there's absolutely no point, in my opinion, to him signing that contract for his own career. This is all about Manchester United trying to maximise their value. But if I was Jesse Lingard, the truth of it is he hasn't really been a part of their plans for the last year, 18 months. I don't really see that the fact that he's played for us the way that he has is going to fundamentally change that, in my opinion. I think there's, exactly as the lads have just said, it's a bargaining chip. They're trying to push the price up. But if I was Jesse Lingard, I'd say thanks, but no thanks. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah. Andy.
The players' attitude as well, Gatesy, to be honest.
Excuse me?
I think that would be the players' mentality to it as well.
I hope so, because at 28, he wants to play, doesn't he? You know, his career...
And I think it's a bargaining chip. You just... The Old Trafford board are going to keep pushing the price up on Sullivan, isn't it? The mistake problem.
The thing is, though, right, you've got
not having an option to buy on the loan deal.
The thing is, you've got to look at this, right? I ain't worried about Man United. I'm more worried about our owners coughing up the money to pay for him. That's more what I'm worried about, because as all this acting like it's a market stall and treating it like a Saturday morning market stall, trading players from pillar to post is unacceptable at this club. Right, and as I've said this, and I've said it time and time again, I never left 5 years ago Upton Park to be sitting in the London Stadium with players who basically I want to see top quality players at this club, and he's a top quality lad and top quality player, and he's shown that in the 7 games he's played, 7 games, 5 goals, 3 assists. So that's quality, and that's the quality that I want to see at this club.
We were promised, James, wasn't it? We were promised the bargaining chip to leave Upton Park was all these top quality players, pushing for a top 6 place in the Premiership. That's what they sold us, to leave Upton Park. And we haven't been delivered that, have we? As fans, we've never been delivered that.
Andy,
they've got no option to do it. If they don't, they're going to get it full on, aren't they?
Yeah. Andy, I mean, I think this is what we've been missing, you know, in years before. When we tried under Moyes to play this counter-attacking football, we've now got our solid at the back with Soufal and Creswell playing well, and when Ogbonna's there, Ogbonna and Dawson. I think that was the last bit we were missing. Jesse Lingard, you know, the pace, the liveliness about him, and I think, as Daya said, I think it would be a really, really bad decision if we don't go out there. I mean, James said it before, put a pre-contract deal in and just go to them and say, look, we'll give you 20 million quid now. We want Lingard. But they won't do that. And I do hope to God that at the end of the transfer window, when it comes to the new season, that Jesse Lingard is still in a West Ham shirt.
To be honest, all this stuff coming out, there's no Premier League football. This is just journalists trying to make stories. I don't believe any of it. I honestly don't believe a word of it. I believe Man United.
I don't know though, Andy. I don't know. I know what you're saying there.
You think
I will be honest.
If you own Man United now, you're bound to do that, aren't you? There's an asset there. You're going to try and bump the price up for one on West Ham, yeah, and also, if you do sign him and bring him back, you're going to flog him on again for more money. So if you ain't going to get money out of West Ham, you're going to bring him back and flog him on again.
But even if that is the case, like you said, it's down to Jesse Lingard. If Jesse Lingard refuses to sign it and they go, well, I'm sure Jesse Lingard will, even if he sits there for 6 months, I'm sure if he wants a club, even if it'll be a pain for not having him from August to January, but I'm sure Man United will then go, well, say, for example, it goes down to 10 million, they'd rather 10 million than nothing. I think Jesse Lingard will.
If they're stubborn, if they're stubborn, Andy, I will say one thing. Man United, remember one thing: they haven't got to let him go to us. They can let him go to somewhere else. If we come in and we say, right, we give you 20 million, and say Leicester come in and say, right, we give you 22. Man United don't owe us anything, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying.
I'm
about Man United. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm doing it from the players' side of it. I'm not saying Man United. I'm doing it, but I'm saying it on the player side. In my opinion, he won't go to Leicester. Like, you've got Maddison, you've got all of them attacking players. He's not going to get in their starting 11. You've got Barnes, you've got Maddison, you've got all them other players. He's not going to play. And I'm
sorry, mate, but if Leicester get Champions League, players go to Leicester. Like, I know everyone says about Barnes and Maddison and all that game. I get it totally. I understand. I'm with you, mate. I'm with you 100%. But if someone comes in there and says, right, you got Champions League football, do you fancy it? No one's going to say no.
Right, but he's not guaranteed to play. We could offer. I don't know. I'm just giving an argument's sake, a Championship player. Yeah, we've got Europa League football. Doesn't mean he's going to play.
Yeah,
it's just words.
Yeah, I agree.
You see what I'm?
Yeah,
that's the point I'm making.
Yeah,
the trouble is, it doesn't come down to the player. The player obviously has the say, but they've got an agent on their side, and the agent. Can I ask
one a question here though? Like, how much would you be prepared to sign Lingard for with a year left on the contract though? That is like
25 million.
What do you think? Yeah. See, I agree with that totally. If someone said to me right now, 25, I think is fair. I think it is fair. I think it ain't over the top, and you ain't insulting Man United with a bad price. I think 25 million. Where are you going to get an attacking forward?
Or if not, you do 20, and then after so many appearances or European football and all that, you add the other 5, or you do the add-ons. Yeah. Or I reckon 20 minute flat free, and then the add-ons.
Yeah.
The thing you've got to realise, though, guys, is that with 12 months of his contract, all the cards are in Jesse Lingard's hand. Not in ours, and not in Manchester United's. It's in his hands. If he wants to stay at Manchester United, which I don't think he does, then he'll sign that contract. But I don't think he will. I think he wants to leave because he wants, at the age of 28, he wants regular first-team football. Now, I agree with James that, European football is attractive, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like what Andy said, that if there's a team that's in Europe, but he's not guaranteed regular first-team football against a team that's maybe playing in a lower tier European team competition, like us perhaps, next season, I think he's going to want to play games. And as I say, he holds the chips. He holds the cards at the minute. He's got 12 months on his contract. If he doesn't sign the deal, he will just sit there and say, not a problem. I'll go for nothing in the summer. I'll be 29 years of age. I can negotiate my own signing on fee. Job done.
Yeah, but the problem is with this. Jake, I just want to say this, The problem is with this is our board. It's not nothing Jesse Lingard. It's not Man United. It's our board. If they don't fork out the money, then we ain't getting the player. Simple as that. Like, Man United don't owe us anything. If Man United say, right, it's £25 million for this man, and Gold and Sullivan just and they go in with a low ball, low balling bid.
That's where the issue lies, James.
At 15. If it goes in at 15 or 18 million, Man United could look at that and go, "Now you're insulting us, Tuller," because they don't need the money.
But then they'll get even less for him in January. That's the bottom line. And if they go all the way, then they'll get nothing for him.
Yeah. Somebody's just popped in. I've dangled the link in his face, and he just couldn't resist it, could he? It's Anton. Hello, Anton. You right?
Yeah. Thanks, Dick, for having me on. How you doing? He's okay.
Yeah.
Anton,
yeah.
Anton.
Yeah, I've managed to sneak away from the missus for 5 minutes, so don't tell anyone.
I'm gonna get a comment in a minute. Come down and put the kids to bed.
Yeah, you're gonna get in trouble. No. One of them's asleep, so we're just getting the other one to sleep. But yeah, no, it's an interesting topic. I mean, I've really kind of stayed away from my phone a lot today, so I've only really checked in over the last kind of hour or so and seen the news about Jesse Lingard and the rumoured contract offer, etc., with Manchester United. But I caught kind of like 5 minutes what you guys were saying, and I kind of tend to agree that Man United are just trying to drive up that value, that price. I mean, I don't think they they love him. There's no ifs or buts about it. Every Man United fan I've spoke to, I know they all have a really strong respect for Jesse Lingard, but they are also very respectable in terms of they know that he needs to move on. So they're all behind it. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is all behind it, and I think I don't know who said it, but I think offering him a contract is just playing a game really to drive his value up. Yeah. And I heard what James was saying about it's down to our board. The only difference I'll say, in my opinion, now is under Moyes. So far, anyone that Moyes has wanted, he has been given.
Yeah, Not really, Anton. He got given Ben Rama and he wanted Eze. So he hasn't really got everyone he's wanted.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. Apparently, this is all down to, this is where I'm at as well. I heard when Eze was released as West Ham's #1 link, but there was no categoric evidence to state that Moyes had actually said that Eze was his #1 target. We were led to believe through the ITKs of the Twitter world that was going to be the word, and they're not always 100% reliable.
I agree, man.
And what we're also seeing now is, like, nobody really knew about Thomas Souček. Nobody knew he was going to come in when he came in. Nobody knew we were going to sign him on a permanent when we did. Nobody knew we were going to sign him on a loan.
But who's to say? I agree, Anton. But who's to say we could have agreed this deal in the background and everyone's just keeping hush? They've not even told the ITK. The deal could be in place. We could be sitting here saying that.
A deal's not there. 100% the deal's not in place, mate. It's a straightforward loan.
Yeah. I don't believe there is a deal, but I think that, I mean, we would be silly here as West Ham fans to sit there and think any other club in the Premier League or Europe wouldn't be looking at Jesse Lingard thinking, I want a piece of that. And they're going to start a bidding war, 100%. And Gatesy, I think you asked me when I was on your show, how much would I pay for Jesse Lingard? And you kept driving that price up, tempting me. And the part, I got to the point where I'm like, when you get a player who makes such an impact, I think Ken said it in the chat, who's had such a positive impact, you kind of have to go and do everything in your power. I personally would pay over the odds for someone like Jesse Lingard because I think he can then attract and bring in others to follow suit with that style of play.
But do you have the faith in our board to go out and go right to Manchester United? There's 25 million. That's what we think he's worth. That's what we're prepared to pay, which I think's fair with a year left on his contract. Do you trust our board to go there and do that? Because I definitely 100% don't, mate.
3 years ago, under any other manager, absolutely not. Right now, under David Moyes, COVID-19 pending, whatever happens with the club, the financial background, etc. But if David Moyes wants Jesse Lingard, you've just got to think about this, right? Think about all the problems that's happened before we stopped going to that stadium. And there's been a reprieve from that. If it ever gets out that Moyes wants Jesse Lingard and lost out on him for 2 or 3 million quid, all hell will break loose again. And nobody wants that. And I don't think they can afford to not go and get their man. It's different if they offer 50, 60, put a stupid price tag on him. But I do put the trust. I've got so much trust in what Moyes is doing at the club just now. Even though when he makes stupid decisions sometimes.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go through some comments now, see what you guys are saying. But I'd like to say this. So I made a little video earlier. Can everyone say happy birthday to Grandad before he goes to bed? Yeah, it's my Grandad's birthday. Scott said it. Lawrence said it.
Happy birthday, Grandad.
Classic.
Senior cock.
Happy birthday.
84 today, I think, even though he still says he's about 46. But oh, there we go. Right, the man, the myth, the legend has entered the chat. Gatesy, who is it?
Peach.
Of course it is. Peach, how are you?
Building. Peach is in the
The
building.
Canadian
What's up,
cyclone.
Peach, you've had a haircut.
I know, fresh and so clean.
Very
clean.
smart.
How you mean?
Wow.
Peach,
Yo,
have you got a date tonight?
I might have 2 Gatesy. I might have 3 Gatesy. You never know with me.
Ooh
Dog.
la
One
la.
might be at 8, one might be at 10, and then one might be at midnight, and that's where I'll stay the night, dog.
Go on then, Beach. Give us your thoughts on this whole Lingard debate then. Is he going to Man United? Is he staying at West Ham? What's going to happen from the man, the myth, the legend?
First off, happy birthday to your granddad. Big up. Big up, Granddad Cox. How you mean? Done
Big
no.
up.
Don't know.
You remember that song? Remember that song? Please don't go. Please don't go. Oh, I love you so. Please don't go. That's what I know. That's me with Jesse Lingard, dog.
Yeah.
We need that,
Andy.
Well,
Andy,
go,
cheers,
guys.
mate. Thank you.
Cheers, Andy, mate.
Come on,
later.
Lions. Cheers, Andy. Thank you. His Chinese has arrived finally. I think it's about an hour late, but he's Peach, do you genuinely think that Lingard will go back to Man United?
Nope. No, because I think he enjoys playing with Rice and Czech. I think he's gotten along with all the men at the club. He even said himself, it's a new lease on life. Him and his family are all in London. I can't see him going. I can't see him going at all.
Yeah. Peach, are them your new headphones there?
Yeah, they sound better, right? Like a bit more professional. Trust me, dog.
Professional Peach. There we go.
Professional Peach. I don't know.
Guys, anything else you guys want to add about that debate before we move on?
No, all good.
There we go then. The second thing that I've got wrote down is Mr. Aaron Ramsey being linked to West Ham. Now here we go. Aaron Ramsey then. James, I'm gonna start with you. If we just do this for a moment, if we wipe his wages out of the equation, would you be tempted, James?
Where's the striker? That's what I'm going to say.
Thank you.
That's the first.
Thank you.
That's the first thing I'm going to say is where's the striker? We don't
Thank
need
you.
an attacking midfielder. How many people have we got attacking midfielders? Like we need a central midfielder. Well, we need two central midfielders to cover on Rice and Souček. That's a given straight away. But where's the striker, mate? Where's keep lowballing getting these players? He's a good player, Ramsey. Like him, done well at Arsenal. He was half decent. Gone to Juve. Yeah, he's all right. But where's the striker? We need a striker at this club, and it's becoming a massive issue now because we've got one striker and he's never fully fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gatesy, if this is true, if this is what's on David Moyes' clipboard, if he's wrote down, do you think? I mean, we've got so many attacking midfielders, haven't we? I think the only way I think that this could kind of be an actual rumour is if he thinks he can slot into the central midfield, central defensive midfield, something like that. What do you think?
If he is a David Moyes pick, and it is an if, then I have to trust him because so far every signing that he's made has worked. So if this is David Moyes' choice, fine. Personally, I don't think it represents a good signing for the club. I certainly don't think it represents good value for money. I mean, if we're going to sign him, there's no way we can afford his wages at the minute. He's on 400k a week at Juventus, so that's simply not going to happen. So I don't realistically see how we can afford him. Quite frankly,
Yeah.
He's 30 years old. His injury record's not the best. So those things considered, I personally don't. It wouldn't be my first choice. Let's put it that way. But as I say, I'm willing to say if he's a David Moyes pick and not a board pick, then I say okay, fine. You're the main man. You've got it right all the time so far. I have to put my trust in you.
Yeah, I mean, it's come around on Twitter, Anton, that they're thinking 300k for his wages. 300k. I mean,
No way.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Jake, I don't believe the link at all. I really don't. I don't like. There's so many links I've seen, especially now that Stell does his marathon show on a Sunday, and they see the amount of players that we're linked to weekly. It's astronomical, and honestly, it's got to the point now where it's like it's just firing stories out for the sake of it, and I don't believe for a second. I'm kind of on that wavelength that I don't. Moyes just came in and said one thing and one thing only. He's going to try and emulate the Red Bull model that's in Germany and Austria, younger players. And if he finds the right player with experience, he'll look at him, he'll bring him in. But when you're talking about a player, listen, Ramsey's a quality player, suffered from really bad injuries over his career, but has still got the ability to do what he needs to do. But I agree with all the guys that spoke beforehand. We don't need a player in that position. I want us to go out and get a striker 100%. But I just don't believe. But if we were interested in him, I'm not up for it, to be honest, because we don't need that position. It's not the position we need. It's exactly what James said. It's central midfield to protect, to back up. In actual fact, not just to back up Rice and Souček, because I think Moyes is looking at players that can try and come in to challenge. I do believe that that's what Moyes does, but then a striker is definitely something, But the funny thing is, even though I want a striker, I kind of believe in the formation sometimes when he plays a false nine. I
like that.
Yeah, kind of. Villa. I mean, I know it was a one-off game, but it can work, and Moyes can, change things. But 100% a striker. We need a striker, definitely.
Yeah.
Because when we play the false number 9, they don't know who to mark. They don't know who's gonna, be up in a central position to have a shot.
I think that kind of formation really suits Benrahma, actually.
Yep.
It gives them so much freedom and lets Lingard push a little bit further forward, etc. But the key element is going to be such a crazy summer to think that we've got a player on loan who's made such an impact. We've got players we want to make sure we keep, and we need to bring in some players as well. So we're always talking about.
And it can't go down to the last day of the transfer deadline day like Benrahma did.
No chance.
You know what I mean?
No. Can I just say, I've got some lovely staff coming up today. I've just had my second J2O come up, and out of the 3 I picked for every show I've got, for every show I bring up a mug, I just add the funny feelings tonight, Anton. I just add the funny feelings. So there we go. Steve, give us your thoughts on Ramsey.
Jake, I'm sorry to interrupt. I need to head because I've just had the eyes from the missus, so that's my cue.
Cheers, Anton.
James,
Take care, Anton.
Peach,
Big up, G.
easy. Come on, you
cheers,
are.
Anton. Thank you, mate. Steve,
he's such a legend, dog.
Big up, Anton. Big up West Ham United. Find me over there on Matchday Live's player ratings with Matt as well. Check me out over there. Steve, then. Ramsey, what's your thoughts?
As a person, great player, great person. I think it all comes down to the bottom line in all of it, I think. And I think James summed it up well. Whatever David Moyes wants now, I think he'll get. So if Moyes wants him, they get him. Right? Yep. I think the difference is at West Ham at the minute with Sullivan is Sullivan has realised he's now got a manager who, if you leave him alone and make his own selections, will take the club forward, which he's proved. This is a manager he got rid of. What's his name? Wasn't it? Oh, Fuzzyhead and Pellegrini. Yeah, went for the big sign, didn't work. Yeah, got Moyes in and saved the club basically. And I think you find, and I think the same thing goes back to Lingard as well. I think if Moyes pushes it that he wants that player, I think Sullivan will back him and buy the player. Because I don't think he's got a choice. See,
yeah.
I'll tell you something. When Big Sam was the manager of West Ham, he got slaughtered, right? But he done a good job, to be fair. And I used to see the emails, right? What the mental midget, as I used to call him at the time, used to send Big Sam trying to run a football team, right? Honestly, you wouldn't believe how many emails come. You're talking 100 a day. And he sat there in his big mansion on it. What's happening? What happened in training? What happened here? What happened? He was involved in everything. And the interference, and Big Sam he took a bit of it, but at other times he wouldn't take it, right? This is driving him mad. And I think, and I know Slav was the same. I know. And I know that the business with Slav, right, was exactly, and he had enough of it. Especially, of course, the Payet thing kicked off and all the rest of it, didn't it? But Sullivan is a control freak, right? But I think, right, that he's learnt now. Hang on, Moyes is doing the business, yeah. So I think Moyes is in a position, got himself into a position now, and proved himself, right, that he'd get what he wants. So if Moyes pushes hard enough for Lingard, I think he'll get him. I think Sullivan will get the checkbook out. With Ramsey, you asked about Ramsey. I think with Ramsey, it all depends if Moyes wants him.
Yeah. James, what's your thoughts on this then? Yeah.
Me personally, mate, it all goes back to this summer. At the end of the day, what we're being touted about, 60 million and all that, and obviously now we're seeing about Lingard. These owners have got to start putting their money where their mouth is, and I can't stress it enough, mate. The ambition of the club relies on this summer. Yeah. If you think 60 million pounds going to get us make a dent in this team, as I keep saying it won't. Simple as that. We'd be lucky if we sign the two players that we've got there now on loan and bring one more in. Do you know what I mean? It's the Ramsey thing, not for me. We don't need an attacking midfielder. We've got multiple attacking midfielders who can play that position. Lingard can play there. Fornells can play there. Benrahma can play there. We need central midfielders, like proper central midfielders, to come in and replace Souček and Rice, or be backup to Souček and Rice. Now, that's what we need. And we need a striker, mate. That's I want to. And what Anton was saying was bang on the money. What he was saying, right, about we get linked, and it gets tiring after a little while. As a West Ham fan, you're seeing every player from Europe, from South America. Do you know what I mean? All over the place, being linked with the club, and then we sign no one. Or it's a last minute buy from somewhere out when no one plays or something. Do you know what I mean? So it's a big thing. But Ramsey, not for me.
Yeah. James, I'm going to hand over to you in a second to ask a question to the panel, if that's all right. But firstly, I'm going to go through some comments. But before I do that, Gatesy, what's your thoughts on all of this? Sum it up in your thoughts.
What, in terms of Aaron Ramsey?
Yeah.
Yeah. As I say, my personal opinion, I think it wouldn't be a good move. To me, it's a move that doesn't appear to make an awful lot of sense on the face of it. I mean, as James said, we've got plenty of, players that can play in an attacking midfield role. We need a defensive midfielder for cover for the two lads that you've got in there at the minute. We need a striker. We arguably need a goalkeeper. So for me, it's a signing that if it came to pass on the face of it, it doesn't seem to make an awful lot of sense. But as I say, if it's a David Moyes signing, then for me, I think we have to back it, because at the end of the day, he's got everything else right thus far.
Yeah. I'm going to go through some comments and see what you guys are saying. Firstly, a bit off topic, Scott says, did Jake buy the takeaway this week? We'll come back to that in 2 seconds. But no, Scott, buying breakfast in the morning, wait for his plea for donations. Well, I think we're going to the big Golden M tomorrow. But sounds like I'm paying now, so that sounds good. Kent says, are they worried about Bruno Fernandes not signing a new deal, so they're covering themselves to try and Jesse to sign a new deal? That's an interesting. That's interesting. Kent. Mandy says, it's a bit of a backlog there. Mandy says, Jesse will go back to Man U and stay on the bench. I'm sure he would rather play football, but money might talk. We scroll down. Everybody's saying hello to you, Peach.
Big up.
Scott. Simon's saying it. Big up, Peach. Simon says, I can't see him going. Can't see Lingard going back. James, fire away then.
With the reported money, like for obviously Lanzini, Yarmolenko, and Who's the other player that we've been looking at? Oh, Anderson. That's the man. And basically, them three going out. What do you reckon the transfer budget will actually be? Like, and with the transfer, what budget do you think it would be? And how many players do you think we'll be able to get in with that budget?
Peach, I'll put that to you first.
Thank you, because I think it shouldn't be under 100 million quid straight up. James, do you remember when we were after that Portuguese youth, Carvalho?
William Carvalho.
I think we need somebody like him. I think we need, and who was the striker we were after? He was a Colombian guy, and we were after him the whole summer transfer. Yes. We need and then we went for Haller. We need a striker in that form, and I think we need like a defensive midfielder like Carvalho, William Carvalho. Yeah.
So, how many players then, Peach? Do you reckon we need this summer?
I think. Okay, good question. I think backup goalkeeper, but someone to push Fabianski. Randolph's not going to do that. I think we need a left back, just in case Masuaku gets injured again. And Cresswell he's not getting any younger, and I think he's better off as a center left back. I think we need 2 in central midfield, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's at least 5 players, and maybe 6, but at least 5 players.
6.
Yeah, Steve?
I think we need 10, to be honest. You look,
blimey, mate. 10 free signings coming in.
At the beginning of the show, we were worried that the 2 Czech players are going to get injured tonight.
Yeah.
We've got no depth in that squad. And if you want to push on, right, we're in dizzy heights at the minute, yeah, where we could even be higher, right? But when the football comes back as well to away games and all of that, our depth of squad is not there at all. When we're playing two goalkeepers on the bench, there's no depth in it.
Embarrassing.
Moyes is performing miracles, mate. Right?
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
My hope is that he's got hold of Sullivan, but if we finish high, what we remember is in the finances as well. If we finish top 6, top 5, whatever, there's a vast difference of income into the club.
Oh yeah.
They can't say they can't spend it this time round. Say we finish 6th, 7th, 8th. That's a far higher income from finishing 4th from bottom, right? So all that money's got to be spent on the squad if we're going to push on. I think we got the right manager. I've had my doubts about Moyes, as everybody else has. But at the end of the day, Ferguson, very rarely was wrong. And he always praised Moyes, didn't he? Always said he was a fantastic manager. Now, I know Moyes, what happened in Man United, what happened, and he made a couple of bad decisions, going to probably a couple of wrong clubs. But I think the man's got it. And I think Sullivan, hopefully, right, has realised I've got my manager now to push on.
Sullivan will never realise, mate. I'm sorry, but I agree with what you're saying. Sullivan.
I know what you're saying, right?
He's a runner.
You can ask for a lot. I'm no Sullivan fan, right? I'm no Sullivan fan at all. But also sometimes you have to put a bit of reality into it as well, right? Who would you replace Sullivan with? And would it be, I don't know, you could go and get a multi-billionaire. Cardiff City got one.
The way I look at it, Steve, the way I look at this is, mate, right? They've been at the club 10 years since 12 years, sorry, since 2010 or 9, I think it was, right? They took us out of our home 5 years ago in May. Yeah, we're in the best position that we're ever likely to be in our lifetime under this ownership, right? They have to start respecting the fans and give the fans what they've said to us when they
deliver the promise. They have to deliver the promise, don't they? The promise was, I'd rather be in a championship myself, mate, at Upton Park, right, than being in the Olympic Stadium playing lower level Premiership football, right? That's just my personal feeling, right?
Good point.
They gave us all this promise. They were going to take the club up to the top 6. They were going to have this fantastic stadium that never happened so far, right? And they've still got to deliver that promise. That's my opinion. But my hope is in that 2 things. They either sell the club, right, to a decent owner, right, which I don't think is going to happen yet, right, or they put the money in, right, and buy a big squad of quality players to compete for top 6 football. So to do that, going back to your question, we need another 10 players.
Yeah.
Right? This area's fans tonight worrying 2 Czech blokes are playing Belgium might get injured, and we all know we're fucked. To be honest, so excuse me, but we're knackered. We're knackered if them 2 get injured.
Do you know what? You speak. He's only speaking the truth, and we're not just like that. We're not just speaking like that for the Czech lads. We're speaking like that for Declan Rice and Lingard. Let's be honest.
Any injury at the moment to our team, our first team, we're stupid, didn't we? Antonio,
the problem is,
we're already in trouble.
Right. The problem is, because I've got to make a move in a minute. Yeah. The problem is with it. This summer is massive on the front of if we're going to progress, right? Because you're going to have them teams that are below us, right? Won't be as bad again. They won't be as bad again.
And the other thing is, we can remember as well, fans will come back in the grounds, so away games become harder again, right? That's a big thing this season. That is for all clubs, not just West Ham. You're going out onto a pitch and it's a level playing field, right? When you're going out against 60,000 giving it here, right? It's a different game. And away, if you put bets on, the away wins today on bets, or not today, but loads. You make a fortune normally, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Cheers, James. Thank you for coming on. Because I know you got to shoot. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, take care, James. Cheers, mate. Take care of yourself, guys, yeah?
Sullivan has to spend the money, and he's got no excuse. He's got no excuse not to do it now, right? Because of the position that we're in. The income that's coming in will be twice as much as being down the bottom of the Premiership. So where's that?
Gatesy, 2 sets, Peach. Gatesy,
Go on,
Pete.
No, I just want to agree with Steve. They're delivering, or Blakey. I like Blakey better. They're delivering, Blakey, what they said they were going to deliver 6 years ago. So they have to stick the money in their pockets, man.
Yeah. Gatesy, I want you to answer James's question about the signings. Fire away, mate.
6 minimum, and that includes Lingard and Dawson, who are currently on loan. So you're talking about those 2 plus 4 as an absolute minimum. So the 4 players that on top of that, in my opinion, that we would need are a goalkeeper, a left back, a defensive mid, and a striker. As
who would
an
you
absolute
go for,
minimum.
Who would you like to see?
What, the striker position, or
all over? Out your 6, what 6 would you like to see?
Who I would like, I'd obviously Dawson and Lingard. They're 2 straight away off the bat.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Sam Johnston in goal, personally. I know that a lot of people are saying about Areola. Sorry?
You're big on Johnson, Gatesy.
I like him.
Big on him.
I like him.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I know that James thinks Areola, and the problem with Areola is that if Fulham stay up, in my opinion, he's going to Fulham.
But if we get into the Champions League, he's coming to us.
But that's an if. That's an if.
I know.
And the thing is, it's a bit like. But the thing is though, Peach, it's a bit like Jesse Lingard. If he likes it at West Ham, he's very likely to stay. Well, if Fulham stay up, even if we can offer a European football, if he's settled, if his family are settled, his kids, his wife are settled at Fulham, the chances are he's going to stay there. So again, it's about being realistic.
Gatesy, but realistic. You have a few miles across the other side of London, his wife and kids are still going to be settled, isn't they?
Well, yeah, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, like I say, it may well be that he's settled there. He's integrated with his teammates and all the rest of it. and he might not want to go. It might work. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not Areola, so I can't speak on his behalf. All I'm saying is, if they stay up, they're in the box seat. We're not.
I hope they do
So
stay up.
I'd go
Parker.
Johnston because I think West Brom are going down. So I think he's definitely on the market because he's just got into the England squad. If he wants to maintain an England place, he's going to have to play Premier League football. No ifs, no buts. So he would be my
100%.
goalkeeper. Left back, I'm a little undecided. I mean, Rico Henry was the one we was linked with in the summer. I'm unsure.
Okay.
Striker, I'd go Tammy Abraham. That's
Tony
that's
for me,
my
dog.
take on it.
Funny enough, I would as
Tony
well.
for me, man.
The thing is, I mean, the thing with Tammy Abraham is that, see, we've been linked with a lot of strikers. We've been linked with Ivan Toney. We've been linked with Adam Armstrong. We've been linked with Abdallah Sima, El Nesri. Now, the one thing none of these guys have got is a Premier League goal-scoring pedigree. Tammy Abraham does. So if he's not getting minutes at Chelsea, if he's fallen out with the manager and all the rest of it, let's look at it. He's 23 years of age. He's English. He's hungry. He's got a point to prove. He's got a Premier League goal-scoring pedigree. He's hard-working. He's decent in the air. He can finish with both feet. He's quick, not blistering pace, but quick enough. Why not?
But couldn't you see Tony having a bit more ambition and hunger just to prove himself in the Premier League, Gatesy?
But the thing is, it's a bit like, you know, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, Jared Bowen come in and initially he did quite well. Yes, he has had a dip. Hopefully he's on the way back. But there's many players that have come from the Championship to the Premier League. Some cut it, some don't. For every Ollie Watkins, who seems to have hit the ground running, although even he's quite streaky, he'll go on little streaks of scoring goals and then he'll have a barren spell and then he'll start scoring again. And so, you know, he can be quite streaky. But then there's also the Jordan Hugills of this world, you know, who didn't adapt and get used to the pace of the Premier League.
Signing that one.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yeah, it was an odd one, but there's been many players like it, and that's the risk you take when you're signing a Championship player against signing a player like Tammy Abraham that has a proven Premier League.
Oh, I agree with that.
You know, Ivan Toney may well adapt to the Premier League. I personally, if it was a straight choice between Toney and Armstrong, in my opinion, I would say Toney. But the reason why is because Gio did an interview on Hammer's Chat about a week and a half ago, and he was talking to Blackburn supporters, and even he turned around and said he wasn't sure that Armstrong would
Adam Armstrong
in the Premier League. Now, this is a guy that's watching him week in, week out. So if you've got a Blackburn supporter saying that he has reservations whether he could do it in the Premier League or not, then I think we need to be very careful.
Yeah. Guys, if you've got any subjects you'd like to talk about, please keep them in your mind. I'm gonna take some comments and then we'll come to any if there's any. Right, let's see what people are saying about all of this then. Kent says if 3 go, we need 7 to 8 players. Scott says can see us bringing in a couple of loans. Vinay says Moyes won't buy for the sake of it. Eat all you like buffet. Moyes is known to only eat to satisfy his hunger, according to people in the restaurants. That to be fair, that sounds about right. I mean, he's definitely not one to splash cash on someone that he doesn't think's good enough. That is for sure. 2 secs. Steve.
That's a very good question.
Sorry, Steve. I'm sorry, Steve. What did you say?
Sorry, I thought I was interrupting you. That all comes down to
It is
whether Moyes gets control over Sullivan. Sullivan will go out listening to football agents, right? Being told, oh, this one from Italy's good, this one's so and so, this one's so and so, blah blah blah. Who he's trusted in the past, and the ones he's brought in have flopped. Players were turning up at West Ham. Big Sam didn't even know they were signing, mate. And that's how bad the situation was, right? But I think that's the the pinnacle of it all. I sat there with Big Sam and watched a player turn up, right, in a training ground. He went, "Who the fuck's that?" Right? And Sullivan's bought him. So that tells you it all.
Was that Wellington Paulista by any chance?
I can't remember what his name was. Big Sam won't play him. Then he'd get 50 emails saying, "Why are you in the squad?"
Yeah.
Right? He's out with the under-23s. He's shit. And they bought him. Right? And seriously, that's what a joke it was with Sullivan running the football side of the business. Right? Great business man.
Run a bath.
Great. But
he wants to have all his fingers in the pie.
Now, David Gold, 80-odd years old. Yeah, okay. He just goes with the flow because he's a West Ham fan like me and you. Right? But that's how it's honestly, under Big Sam, that's exactly what the players would turn up that Big Sam didn't know had signed. Right? And the emails, I won't go into names. Awful. It's not fair. But the suggestions that used to come through, and Big Sam, no. And then a few would turn up anyway. But I think Moyes has got that under control. Right? And West Ham as well haven't had a decent recruitment sporting director for a long time. We've had an Italian bloke, I can't remember the names now, but they're all bloody hopeless. Right? Yeah. But it's all back deals, you see. How it works is, it's all right, you sign him, we'll have a bit of that. Yeah. But I think Moyes has stamped down on that as well.
Yes.
And we need it. What we need at West Ham is a proper sporting director. And they're not normally come from a football background. They come from a business background, but they have people to spot talent from. They set up the scouting, they set up the reports, all the rest of it. And that's what West Ham have never done properly for years under Sullivan. We just go and get, he scored 30 last season in wherever we're at him.
He must be half decent because Jack Sullivan saw him on FIFA.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the truth, isn't it?
What an amateur club. We're in the Premiership, and we have Jack Sullivan on Twitter telling us what's going on.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It's a fucking joke.
Yeah. Mental.
Sorry, Jake, for the language, but it winds me up. But it's true. You know, he was 14 at the time, wasn't he? Oh, there's a deal being done with blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then we're fans.
And this was the guy that slagged off Robert Snodgrass, wasn't he? He went on Twitter and gave Robert Snodgrass pelters. It was like, you know, whether he's a great player or not, that's just disrespectful.
He's not the greatest football player in the world, but he was committed. You don't go slag him off on Twitter, do you? We have kids running the football. You can imagine the picture, can't you? Jack Sullivan running up to Daddy's office in past the 10-pin bowling alley. He runs up to Daddy's office. Dad, give us a bit of gossip. Oh, I'm on the computer a minute. So-and-so the agent says he's good. Right. We're signing. And that's what went on at West Ham, I'm telling you. Yeah. But
it's like
the hope is now,
Jack Sullivan,
the only hope West Ham has got is David Moyes has got that under control. And I think he has. Looking how it all, from the outside, how it's all now working, it does look that way. Moyes says, no, I don't want him. We don't see these ridiculous signings coming in now.
No.
Right?
No.
We're getting into people, Moyes seems, you know, the two Czech boys. That's definitely in this Sullivan's deals, is it? He couldn't pick them. No, that's way. Moyes in his scouting is doing the job somewhere.
Check.
We need to carry on.
Steve, can I ask you this? Who was the biggest player you looked after as a footballer?
Well, he wasn't a player at the time. He'd gone into management, but it was Jim Franco Zola. And I played football with him as well. Yeah. In a charity game, I must put that in, charity game. If you I was looking after a player.
His free kicks were phenomenal for when he played for Chelsea. He was a little magician. He was a little wizard, man.
Smashing bloke. Lovely fella. And
I see that.
Obviously West Ham manager, wasn't he? I was involved in that as well. But I played football with him against Swindon Town at Swindon's ground for my sins. I played for Chelsea in a charity game. I'll send you the photos later, Jake. But
a true story. When I was the first in the dressing room, right, and the shirts were all lined up, and I thought, hang on, I want Day next to Zola, Poyet, and we've got a shirt around. So when the photos, Day, Poyet, Wise, Zola, right, but you sat there, yeah. But there was a testimonial for one of the players, Christian Roberts, who we used to look after, and Poyet and Wise were the managers at Swindon at the time when Robbo played for them. So, but yeah.
That's magic. That's magic.
Yeah, done a bit of business with Zola. Good. And lovely fella, mate. Lovely fella.
He comes across like that. He comes across like that, Blakey. He comes across like just a genuine man. Like,
I'm gonna ask you all this, and this is a good question that Scott put in earlier, and we didn't get round to it. Paige, I'm gonna come to you first. Realistically, will anyone buy Anderson or Yarmolenko? I'm gonna put that to you, Paige.
We'll lose money. We'll lose money.
That's it. Yeah, Blakey's got it. Like, we can sell them, but we're not, like, what did we buy Anderson for? 30, 40 million?
30-odd million, wasn't it?
Yeah, he'll be lucky to get 15. Lanzini, same, 15. So there's 30 right there. And then Yarmolenko,
Pete, we've had our money's worth out of Lanzini, to be honest, haven't we?
Oh, no, he's a little gem. He's a little gem.
Anderson, another flop.
Yeah.
Yarmolenko.
Tony Cotty said that Lanzini was one of the best West Ham players he's seen in our current squad.
I think so.
He had skill, but that goal against.
He's not been the same player since the injury, though, has he, Pete? That's the thing.
Yeah, but it can take time as well to come back, and you've got to get your face back in, ain't you? So to speak, after an injury like that. But he hasn't been the same player. No. I still rate him myself. But again, I think we just got to get behind hopefully we're there to get behind the manager and let the manager just tell us who's playing, and have faith in him. Because that's what manager's all about at the end of the day, isn't it? The manager knows more than we do, and it's that poor bugger who lives or dies on the sword. And don't get me wrong, when we re-signed David Moyes, I was like, no, I don't want that. Right? But in reality, that's from a fan. But in reality, he's proved everybody wrong, hasn't he? He's gone with a 100%. Thin squad to where we are today. He's got the board of directors from hell, right?
Yeah.
He's got a thin squad, and it appears he's dug his heels in and said, look, if you want me to be manager and take you to where you need to be, get on my side. If not, because he's the type of bloke who walk, David Moyes. And I'll tell you something now as well. Now what he's done, how many other clubs would be looking at him?
He'd walk straight into Newcastle, wouldn't he? Let's have it right.
Take him tomorrow.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paige, you've turned your camera off. Do you know that?
No.
He's getting what I can.
Come
on, Peachy.
That's a dope picture, though, isn't it? That's my favorite West Ham player, Joe Cole.
He's tarting himself up. He's making himself look beautiful for his date tonight.
Casey,
you are.
Pete.
Listen, I'll beat you in a quiz next time, dog. Straight up, dog. You ain't gonna be the champ, dog.
Oh.
I will Muhammad Ali you. Sting like a butterfly. Yo, straight up. Sting like a butterfly, float like a bee thing, dog. Straight up.
Close enough.
Pete, at the bottom of your phone, is your phone black or can you see it? Or can you see the screen?
No, I can see it, dog. Hold on.
Right, so at the bottom.
Oh, the cam went off. Hold up. There
he is. He's back.
Oh, but Gatesy, I'll have you, son. I'll have some of you, son. I only want to take on champions. So I have you, dog. I have you, my friend.
Okay.
Peach, we've seen that hair up close now.
I love you, dog.
Love you too, mate. You know that.
Peach, we've seen your hair up close now. Look at that.
I know. So fresh and so clean.
I think he turned the camera off, Jake, because he was having a trim.
Yes, like
I'm gonna have to keep my missus in the next room because if she sees you, Peach, I think I might be in trouble.
Fire.
Yeah.
Yo, but you know what? I agree with what Blakey's saying about like we need at least 10, and I agree with Gatesy saying we need at least 6. We do need a lot. We do need a lot, and yeah, Sullivan and Gold have to stick their money in their pockets, and Brady just needs to shut the up.
We need to get rid of her.
Oh, big time.
God.
Big time.
She's embarrassing, mate. Embarrassing.
Very. Like, she, Mrs. Apprentice, Mrs. like Sunday calling, whatever, like, leave. Like, no. Yeah.
At the end of the day, mate, at the end of the day, the true thing in business, all she run was a Sunday Sport. The biggest bullshit in newspaper going. It's true. That's all she does. She's a young teenager. Went to work. She's hung on his coattails. You see her eat, I won this business award, this, I'm doing this. It's all PR bullshit, right? Now she's on The Apprentice as a big businesswoman. I've met her a couple of times, and, to be honest with you, she's a cow, right?
I believe you, 100%.
Yeah,
I believe you.
Honestly, and I think she's there as that. She's basically the commercial manager of the football club, isn't she? Right? You got 2 billionaires up there. You got her there, and she's the one who works with the fans and the fans groups and all this shit, right? And she's no good at all, mate. But she never go while Sullivan's there. So
see, you know what I got to do? I got to fly into London. I got to take her daughter out because she's kind of nice. I got to take her daughter out, and then I got to convince her daughter to like leave for her mom to leave West Ham United straight up because she's nothing but trouble.
She's in Marbella more than she's in London, mate.
She is nothing but trouble, man. Like,
but she's just the woman of spin. Yeah.
Exactly.
We do that. We're going to have this fantastic stadium, blah, 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 blah. Let's be honest, the stadium's shit.
It's all blah, 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 blah. You're 100% right. Blah, 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 blah. Like, piss off. Get out of our club. Like, Right,
James. James has rejoined us.
James is back in the building. Rah, rah, rah.
Sullivan's #1 fan.
There's a long queue of them, Steve.
Yeah. Who's #1 fan?
All I would say about Sullivan and Gold, to be honest, David Gold, I've always found a really nice bloke. Right, he's put the money in, but the trouble is, to me, he's got no bollocks. Right, he doesn't say to Sullivan, "What the fuck are you doing?" Right?
No. What it is, it's all money motivated. I'm afraid. Like when they come across and say that
David Gold is not, mate. David Gold is definitely.
I've got to disagree with you there, mate. When there's money involved, people change. Like at the end of the day, whether there's Sullivan, millions of. Let's put it this way, Steve. Steve, let's put it this way: if we're if he's a fan, he would feel how we all feel. So just answer me that.
No, he does.
He's a Birmingham fan. He's a Birmingham fan.
I'm sorry, mate.
You got to remember, he's not the major shareholder anymore, and
walk away, then, mate.
This bloke's in his 80s now, isn't he?
But walk away then, isn't it? Like if it ain't for you no more.
Should he be there? Should he be there? Probably not. Right? But to be fair to, you've always got to remember when the club. I tell you what, how bad it could have been if they hadn't stepped in when they did. And that's
it was on the verge of bankruptcy. Like, obviously, I know it.
10-pointer, all the trimmings, right? So you've always got to give credit, even if someone's done a bad job, right? As Sullivan, I believe, has. I think he turned it into a kids' party, basically, as we were talking about.
But Steve, listen, right? At the end of the day, man, they took us out of our spiritual home, our 125-year history of home, for trying to sell us a dream and basically living us a nightmare. Now, I know he's an old man, and I respect his age, but I don't like. All three of them are all to blame for the same thing because they're all involved. Brady's involved. Gold's involved, Sullivan's involved. If they were to turn around and say, right,
while you're away, like we were saying, Brady just hangs on the coattails of Sullivan, right?
if one of them falls, the rest of them will fall. That's the way I look at it. If one of them goes, if one of them walks away, the Gold turn around and said,
the three of them to get. Well, Brady's just the employee, really. Mate. She's just an employee at the end of the day, right? It's only the two, Gold and Sullivan, right? But Gold, I can honestly tell you, Gold loves the football club. He ain't got no say, mate, right? To be honest. Sullivan runs that football club. That's the difference. It's all being moulded for Sullivan's family, right?
I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you the reason why I'm like this, because people lost their homes and lost their businesses and lost their jobs, lost their livelihoods because of them, right? Yeah. And one thing you don't do to an East Ender is like rip their livelihood away from them. You just don't do it, I'm afraid.
No, I agree. I live in Tudor Road. I was brought up in Tudor Road. You know where Tudor Road is? On the side street there. That's where I grew up, right? I know exactly your sentiment. But football, unfortunately, sadly, has moved all that on, right? I don't think we should have left Upton Park. I don't believe that we couldn't have got the planning permission to extend the ground. Tottenham done it. Everybody else done it. We all know the bus station's gone now. They all said, oh, you can't do that because the bus station, blah, blah, blah. I think we should have stayed exactly where we were, personally.
Yeah.
Business move. They had a great deal with the Olympic Stadium. We got it for nothing. They stole it, haven't they? They've stolen it, really. $2 million a year rent, right? And the taxpayer funds it all. They were clever that way, but they've got to, if you're going to do that move and promise the fans what they promised, yeah, you've got to deliver what you promised you're going to deliver.
Can I ask something though, right? If they don't meet, right, for argument's sake, could you ever, if we don't get Champions League this year, can you ever see us getting Champions League football under this ownership? Because I definitely can't.
No.
100%. Like, I look at this ownership and I look at the way they have treated the fans.
The only chance is there's two ways that it go, right? If it all comes down to the checkbook at the end of the day, right? And I think it's make or break for them now, right? Personally, I think they've actually got themselves under more pressure after what Moyes has delivered, right? Because if they don't this season, if we don't make it this season, Champions League, which I don't think we will, personally, I think we'll finish 7th myself, maybe 7th or 8th. Right? The pressure's not further on them to deliver again, yeah. And I think two things will happen, right? They take the rewards of where we finished, invest it back into the squad, with somebody else, not Sullivan, picking the players, right? Or they milk the money away, right? And look, when's the deal up when they can sell? They can't sell it at the moment because they have to pay.
2023.
When is
2023. Yeah. 2023.
So they just play that game to hang into there and log it on. Personally, go on.
Go on, guys. Go on,
man. What do you think of it all, mate? Do you agree with what James is saying? Do you agree with what Steve's saying?
In terms of the Champions League qualification? Listen, if we don't get it this season, will we see it again?
I think it all comes down to what money they invest and how much they back the manager. Personally,
I don't think they're going to invest an awful lot in the summer. I really don't.
They have to invest.
No, hang on. Pete, I know we want them to, and I want them to. Do I think they will? Now that's the question. Do I have faith that this board are going to put their hands in their pocket and fund it? No, I don't.
I've never found a West Ham fan, and I don't think there is one out there who has faith and belief in David Sullivan.
And that's my issue.
That's my opinion as well.
Yeah, but Steve, hold on a minute, though, mate. Yeah, but they've done that themselves, though. I'm afraid. Like they've called that themselves.
I totally agree.
Yeah, like the moment they get us out of that ground. Well, I'll tell you a little story quickly. Yeah, I done a stadium tour at West Ham in 2015, the year that they was selling up and leaving. 2016, sorry, when they were selling up and leaving. Right. What happened was I went round the ground and I did a tour guide of a great Phil Parks, goalkeeper.
Yeah,
right.
Parksy,
Speaking to Phil Parks, yeah, top man. Right. Walking around the Upton Park, boardroom, everything, done all that game. I was sitting in the boardroom. I was with my partner at the time, and I said to him, I said, be honest with me, is this a money motivated thing, or have they got the best interest of the club? And his words to me was, it's all about money.
But
and to me,
but Parksy's been there for years. He works in the hospitality there. He works for the club, remember, and he's going to have an opinion. I'm not going to argue with Parksy's opinion. He's a fantastic bloke, right?
But let's be honest here. Let's be really honest. Let's be really honest here in this opinion now, right? We have been closer to the Championship than we have to the Champions League.
Yeah.
We've been closer to getting relegated than we have to be anywhere near European football. This year's a freak, right? And we can all go back to, it might be because there's no fans there. It might be because we're playing really well, even if there was fans there. But at the end of the day, this board, and the reason why we are as we are, and there's a lot of fans, I know a lot of West Ham fans, right? And I've got something coming up on my channel, coming up very soon, where I'm going to get to it with one of the most highly respected people in the game, and that's ex-West Ham employee, right? And when I do, I will ask the questions that no one else likes to ask, and I will get to the points where no one else doesn't want to go, because I've had enough of seeing my club keep fighting relegation and seeing my club possibly end up going down because of owners who don't want to back the money and pay for the players. I've had enough of it. Like,
I know your sentiment. I'm exactly the same. I've been supporting West Ham since 1970, as young as I was taking my first game. Do you know what I mean? And that's all I ever feel. But we've gone through all those years of we've done this and done a bit of that and go down, blah blah. But we all still love the club. But in the real world of business, right? Eggy fucked it up when he took on the club. Right?
Terry
Brown was a crook.
Terry Brown was a
Oh, he was a crook, mate. I've been out with him on a bit. I don't want to go into it all, but right. But Sullivan and Gold did save the club. Right? I'm not sticking up for him. Right? They did save the club. David Gold put his money in. Simply, of course, both were in it, Birmingham and all the rest of it. But West Ham was his love. But in business, because I run several businesses and whatever, right? But a trick that we've always done, look at the small detail, to give you the bigger picture, right?
Yeah, but can I say something though, right?
Let me finish on this point, right? And David Sullivan, I'll never trust. Yes, I had those dealings with him at Cardiff. They were dodgy to start off with. Right? I missed my bloody point now. What I was going to say, right? But the thing is, when David Sullivan went on and said, "I'm a West Ham fan," right? Yeah. And I'm this and I'm that, and I was born in the East End, blah blah blah, and I've always that's total bullshit. Because I knew he lived in Cardiff, and he was a Cardiff fan. And he bought Birmingham.
So he has two clubs.
And I've seen deals, right? Honestly, and this is what worries me. And the mentality of David, he made his money in Form and the Daily Sport, right? Yeah, writing bullshit, basically. The Daily Sport, Sunday Sport was bullshit, yeah? We all bought it for a laugh. Buried, 22-stone woman buried in a garden shed. People bought the story, right? But go back to the serious side of it, right? If you look at the small detail and what people say, and they forget they say it, right? He tells everybody he was a Cardiff fan. He went on.
I know, but he flip flops. He flip flops though, Steve. Like, I'm not being funny. I think he makes out he's from Church. His Church.
Yeah, Walter Mitty.
You know what I mean? Right? That's what I'm saying.
That program on telly, Turn the Key, you went in there out.
Man.
Yeah, I'm a Cardiff City supporter. He says and I'll buy Cardiff City one day and take them to the Premier League or whatever. Blah blah blah.
They signed that club. They signed that club in 2010. Is that right? I believe that's right. January 2010, I believe that they come into the club and they come into it. Now I'm going to ask Gatesy because Gatesy knows for his stuff, right? Gatesy, do you know when the Olympics? The Olympic Committee was announced when it was going to be London 2012. What year was that? Can you remember?
2005.
So they knew exactly when they signed for that club. They knew exactly what they was buying, and they knew that stadium wouldn't be fit for purpose in Stratford other than a football ground.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
The stadium was already well under construction by 2010.
I spoke to a chairman of
they were
another
walking into.
at the time, and I was giving him a bit of stick. Right? Oh, Sullivan's bought West Ham, he saved it, because they did save the club. And his words were, I can't tell you his name, but top football chairman, and he went, he's dead now actually, but he went, it's a property deal. That was it. 3 words.
But to us fans though, to every fan, to every fan,
I'm the same as you, mate. I'm no different. I'm a fan. Do I trust him? No. Do I like David Gold? Yes. Do I like David Sullivan? No. Right? Do I trust David Sullivan? Who's got the David Sullivan?
How can I put this, right? I don't want to be rude when I say this, right? I don't, right? But you can't like one and then say the other one's bad. They're always bad as one another.
I can only go by the experiences I've had. If you meet a bloke and you look him in the eyes, right, on a deal, I'll do a deal with David Gold. Would I do a deal with David Sullivan? If I shook his hand, I'd check how many fingers I'd left. Right? Yeah. Seriously, he's slippery as they come. And I think he's moulded it, but he's doing it 2 ways. Right? He's going to buy that ground. It's a property deal. I remember a chairman, like I said, he said it's a property deal. 3 words. Right? And it's been proved right. There was no talk of a big stadium then. It was Rugby Park, he saved the club, but we're going to push on. It's a property deal.
Yeah. The problem is, right?
It was a property deal.
The problem is, right? I'm a supporter, right? I've supported the club since birth, right? I've been born into it from an East. Hold on a minute. I'm just going to say this. I've been born into it from an East London family. I don't care about property deals. I care about my club progressing to the next level.
None of us do we? We want our football club.
And the thing is,
like I say, I'd rather watch West Ham in the Championship at Upton Park than playing at the Olympic Stadium, playing with all the fannies in the Premier League.
Because you know what does me is if people go up to Upton Park now, I think Gatesy might have been round there. It's flats now. Right? Goodbye history.
Broke my heart, James, I've got to tell you.
Yeah. Right, and I cannot go up there and see it because I would break down and cry my eyes out because that's how much it means to me as a fan.
I saw the Boleyn go up. I went up to watch the Scorpions in Canary Wharf. I flew back from Spain to watch. I'm not in Spain at the minute, but I've been living out in Spain. And I come back from Spain. I wanted to watch the Scorpions Canary Wharf. And the first thing I said to my missus, I need to go up to Upton Park and see what the score is. Right? Yeah. She'd never been to Upton Park, right? New birds and all that. But I went there, fucking balled it up, blah, blah, blah. What about the fucking families' graves outside? Right? And I know loads of people in the old memorial garden. Not even looked after. Yeah. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Right? And then the stones we all bought. You remember that? I don't know if you bought one, but my kids bought me one for the walkway at the new stadium. What a joke. You can't even read the names on it. You can't find your stone. You ain't got. That's Karen Brady for you. Flog them all in.
Karen Brady.
For 500 whatever it was. And the name's faded out in 2 minutes. It's a shambles. No, I don't believe in David Sullivan. I have no faith in him whatsoever. The only faith I'm hanging on to is he can't sell it. They're never going to sell the club, like you say, to that date. We know that, right? My faith is somebody will step in then, buy the club, but he's going to chin in then, right? Or he's actually got that inner in him to drive it on. The ego takes him to want to be in the Champions League. David Sullivan for the midget that he is, has a massive ego, right? And when all the fans are abusing him, right, he takes it to heart. I know that for a fact. Right?
He should.
I'm like, yeah, big time, mate, right? Big time. So I'm hoping all that makes him push on to show are always, when you're a philanthropist, an entrepreneur like him, you never want to be seen as a failure, right? Yeah? So I hope that failure, that fear of failure at West Ham, with the pressure on him, makes him push the football club on. Right, do I have faith in him? No. Would I have faith in David Gold? Yes, as an investor to the club, but no, as somebody to push it on. Because he put... Go on, sorry.
Kent says, I've been back to Upton Park a few times. It was emotional.
Oh, shocking, mate. But we all live on memory, don't we? We're always going to live on memory. The human being, the Queens, the Boleyn, the burgers, the stalls, coming out the tube station, all the fans together. My favourite game, West Ham Millwall, Rucking with Millwall in Green Street, right?
Come on.
2 times, do you know what I mean? We'd love to go back to all that. But unfortunately, the Premier League and Sky and all the rest of it is taking that away from us, right? Yeah. Even like little Cardiff City, Brownie's team have had to move stadium to a Legoland, didn't they? Right? But unfortunately, that's football now. Football has become business, where before it wasn't business. It was.
You know what's business though? Do you know what's business?
Well, I should have a clue.
No, you know what's business? What Gacy had for lunch today. That's what's business. That is what's business. What Gacy had for lunch today. I want to know.
Right.
I want to know what Gacy had for lunch today. Because I know he done add up like everything on a small island. What'd you have for lunch today, Gatesy?
It was quite small and quite humble actually today. It was what was it? It was a sausage and caramelized onion sandwich and a satsuma.
Beautiful.
And that's where we'll end it, I think. Thank you very much.
Hold on. What biscuits do I got?
Jaffa cakes.
Ginger nuts.
No, I love a Jaffa cake. Like when Del Boy said to Rodders, what's a Jaffa? It's seedless something. Seedless balls or something.
Yeah.
Come on in, Pete. What is it?
What do I got?
Ginger nuts.
Hobnobs.
Yes. Gatesy wins the prize.
Well done, Gatesy. So Gatesy's won 2 things today. Gatesy's won 2 things today now.
We wasn't going to mention that, young fella.
So some of the show up then. We want Sullivan out. We want a multi-million billionaire owner to come in who loves football and wants to spunk all his cash, and we go win the Champions League. Yeah?
Blakey, what do you think about Trip Smith? What do you think about Trip Smith from America?
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? To me, I think there's something in there. But I think that's where it comes down to that date of where Sullivan and Gold and the consortium, if you want to call them, bail out, right? That's 2 years away because otherwise they got to play all the clauses back for the Olympic Stadium, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it's something. Hey, you don't invest. You don't get your money and say, right, I'm going to have no say, but I'm going to buy 10% of a football club. Right?
No, I know, because I remember seeing Man City in like the all first division, and then they came up and they got the Abu Dhabi money, and they like signed everybody in the world, Harlem Globetrotter things.
But Peach, think about this, right? You got all this money. Why would you, if you're not going to have no controlling say or any involvement, invest 10% in the West Ham? So there's got to be something somewhere why he did that.
Yes.
You see what I mean? Yes. You would do it.
Guys, we're going to end it there. Thank you very much, everybody.
Jake's got jealous of you eating your biscuits, me drinking me beer.
I got my hobnobs.
He's got whatever he's got there. Jake's going to sneak down the pub now and try and get a couple of real beers when his dad's not looking.
Thank you to Gatesy, Peach, Steve, James.
Big up, Jake.
Thank you for
James.
having me, Jake.
Blakey, it was a pleasure meeting you. It was a pleasure talking to you. Casey, it's always a pleasure talking to you. And
Thank
Jake
you.
is the legend from like heaven. How do you mean?
Thanks, guys. Come on, you guys.
See you later, lads.
Bye-bye.
Take it
See you,
easy,
lads.
boys.